first real up-close and personal look at undusting. Even more up-close than the dusting in Infinity War.
Lieutenant Trouble.
And a 2-minute early hint about Monica's identity if you were paying attention during Captain Marvel, or, made a 2-part video about it.
No.
Which was 2 years after you...
After I what?
After you disappeared.
But it's funny that it took a show about period sitcoms to get some real up-close and personal reactions to the blip. We got a little in Far From Home, but nothing this serious. Nothing like the utter chaos we all assumed would take place when people who'd been gone for 5 years just started reappearing. Sword changed from Sentient World Observation and Response Department to Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. Feels like a weird choice, but it definitely focuses it more on Wanda and Vision and Carol, I guess, rather than just green shape-shifting aliens. Ah, so that's how Monica picks her superhero name. A news channel. Or maybe that's why she'll decide to go by Photon.
You haven't aged a day.
And you look old as hell.
Compliment or honesty?
Shifted away from manned missions and refocused on sentient weapons, like it says on the door.
The MCU is always its own thing, obviously, but the events of Endgame have conclusively sent the MCU down its own reality, which I think most comic readers enjoy, so now we're getting the same organization, but with a varied goal.
James E. Woo, FBI.
Scott Lang's close-up magic that Jimmy coveted so much.
Growing up, other kids had Michael Jordan posters on their walls, but I had Elliot Ness.
Elliot Ness? Really? You idolize the Prohibition guy? I won't begrudge you Kevin Costner or Robert Stack, but the actual cop? I guess Al Capone sucked.
We're not supposed to talk to each other.
Boy Scout leader, got it.
I'm a chemical engineer.
No one cares.
2 lines back and Darcy showing the most intuition out of all the smarties.
What kind of data are you getting?
I'm afraid that's highly classified.
You can't see anything?
CM.
Cosmic microwave background radiation.
So if the Mind Stone was created during the Big Bang, I guess it makes sense that Wanda's magic, which was enhanced by the Mind Stone, would use CMBR to create her sitcom reality? It checks out.
These swords will take you straight into town.
For the keen-eyed, or those paying attention, or spending a crap ton of time on Reddit, you'll notice that this episode is a quick walk through the first 3 episodes. The drone Monica sent in, the guy that comes up out of the sewers, and obviously Monica getting booted out at the end. I appreciate the clear timeline even for events we didn't see.
So you're saying the universe created a sitcom starring 2 Avengers?
And that's pretty much how it was sold to us. Ha! Out with the old TVs and with the newer for the next generation sitcom. So they weren't wrong about everything. Another solid clue for Agnes not being part of the town since they can't find her ID.
Here to help.
And then there's also scenes that we saw that Wanda cut. We saw the cup breaking, but Wanda only broadcasts what she wants the truth to be, if you know what I'm saying. And you can even hear the leftover break of the cup in the sound. Something I didn't notice initially is the color getting sucked out of the beekeeper, and the world makes it even more unsettling.
I can't believe Wanda and Vision are having a baby.
Jimmy and Darcy both totally enthralled with the show.
Twins. What a twist.
Again, the aspect ratio sliding down and out to cinematic, which is interesting because it lets us know that Wanda was just broadcasting in the correct letterbox ratio, not actually experiencing it that way. I mean, other than blocking, I guess. But it's not like you would see the edges of the screen anyway. This hurts my brain. And we talked about the stages of grief last time and how this is her transition to anger, but there's an almost elastic snapback to denial as if she can't believe that she gave in to the anger, something she hadn't done up until this point, but she has an even harder time in the next episode.
Yeah. We don't have to stay here. We could go wherever we want.
No, we can't.
Nothing like being reminded he's dead to reaffirm that they can't leave. It's spelled out very clearly here, but Hayward is about to lie to us in the next episode, so we still couldn't be totally sure. Well, Voodoo Child and the creepiest look-down camera from these two adds a whole other feeling to the sweet sitcoms we've been watching, especially given that Monica just told us.
It's all Wanda.
Where is Geraldine?
She's gone. She didn't belong here.
Conclusive proof that Wanda even controls the previously ons. I mean, obviously she does. I think we can assume Disney Plus is hex magic, but she changed her own line to be a little more aggressive.
Oh, she left, honey. She had to rush home. She's gone. She didn't belong here.
Showing my age, but while episodes 1 through 3 gave me a touch of Nick at Night nostalgia, let's say more intellectually, this little Full House meets Growing Pains set gives me a very weird feeling of deja vu nostalgia, even though it's brand new. Even more than Fuller House does.
Keep it down, Russ. I was about to get my leg over.
An idiom I'd never heard, and I'm gonna guess it was new for some of you, so let's make Get a Leg Over our CinemaWins word of the week.
Go to sleep, my baby.
Also, speaking of Full House, there's a very meta feeling of the younger sister of the twins who play Michelle Tanner using magic on them to make them stop making noise, especially when you consider this.
Lizzie, you just can't come today. Maybe next time. We'll see.
So that's a thing that exists. But I actually think they did her a future favor with this line.
Or that you're not in the human race.
Also, I very much love Wanda's 80s hair and Agnes's Flashdance getup, even if I was a little disappointed we only got one episode for the 80s and 90s together, and don't you dare start talking to me about the Malcolm in the Middle episode as if it's 90s. That show started in the year 2000. It's the definition of a 2000 show. Pulling rank here, I was 15 when it came out, and I'm a 90s kid. What in the world was I talking about? Right, 80s good.
Just on my way to Jazzercise.
And Agnes just can't stop moving.
Do you want me to take that again?
Another break from Hex reality, this time for Agnes to probe how much Wanda is actually in control. Visually, the title sequence is obviously family ties with the painting being painted, a touch of growing pains with the photos, and Full House with the running in the grass to the picnic. And then the song is also a duet like Family Ties, but the real feels come from the Growing Pains duet for sure. Also like that we still stay in our reality with Baby Vision and all 5 birthdays at once for Tommy and Billy. And even having Wanda's pictures be from Sokovia. A few frames of the start of Wanda's grief while Monica's talking about it.
Monica, I know. I'm big fan.
A big fan of her on the show. Look how giddy she is when she comes in. This also lends credence to the idea that Darcy and Jimmy have seen a lot more WandaVision than we have, which gives me FOMO.
We're gonna need to take these again. There's something wrong with the machine.
Yeah, duh. Photons are all really bright. Because they're light.
The twins were subsequently radicalized, volunteering at Hydra.
Oversimplification of events, but yes.
Fanboy Jimmy.
Does Maximoff have an alias?
No, sir.
No funny nickname?
Unless you talk to Agatha, that witch knows.
Monica, she blasted you halfway across New Jersey.
And I survived because she chose to protect me.
She's
Not something that often gets brought up in this universe. You could maybe argue it was the beginnings of Monica becoming indestructible, but other than the X-ray, which I think is proof that being pushed through actually gave her powers, like after smashing through walls, there's really no indication of that, and I'm gonna jump on anything that redeems Wanda.
9 days ago, Maximoff stormed our facility, stole the Vision's body, and resurrected him.
Liar. But a lie that serves both our narrative's misdirection and Hayward's purpose to turn everyone against Wanda. If you ever catch yourself thinking, man, Monica's twist outs look fantastic, you'll be happy to know it's because she was able to have a team of stylists that knew how to work with a black woman's hair, which sadly isn't always the case.
But how did she even do it? Bring him back without the Mind Stone?
Leave it to Jimmy to keep up that questioning attitude, applying all the things he's learned about the MCU, even asking many of the questions we asked when we saw the first 3 episodes.
Dogs need exercise, training, belly rubs, and cuddles.
Ah, yes, the 80s/90s when people's minds did a complete 180 in the process of doing a bit.
How about Sparky?
And this episode is the first real time we get Vision starting to question his reality. You can see his disappearing smile in the title sequence photos, also realizing that Agnes knows way more than she should.
Oh, it's just a precaution, really. I had a hunch someone might pop over with exactly the item we require.
Guys, when I heard your new little bundles of joy were on a sleep strike.
Oh, who told you that?
And even that the one-liners are getting too many laughs.
My ears.
She could have taken out Thanos on her own if he hadn't initiated a blitz.
It's true, she had him. I went back and checked and then got sucked into watching the last 40 minutes of Endgame, which, based on how they talk about it, they all saw it too.
Well, I'd argue that Captain Marvel came close.
What's a hex?
It's what I'm calling the anomaly because of its hexagonal shape. It's starting to catch on.
A rare occasion where fetch happened.
She can change things as they go into the hex.
You called it the hex.
It's a hell of a thing watching you work these computers, Vision. It's like you speak their language.
Ah, Norm, the one tasked with all the Vision the Robot jokes. That and setting up the puns.
Letter opener.
We don't need that. We're already cutting edge.
Top secret communique. Authenticate. Dr. Darcy Lewis finding...
Another break from sitcom reality, but this time for Vision. The camera comes in again to track in front of Vision.
Well, come on, pal. What are we gonna write back? You're the office funny guy. It's a joke. Can't you tell? None of it is real.
Clairvoyance.
It hurts so much. Just make her stop. Just make her stop!
Leading us down the old red herring path to believe Wanda is an actual villain and hurting these people on purpose.
A dog. Speak.
That kid's cheating. No telepathy and dog training.
Where's Dad? You gotta go shoot Dad.
Oh, he's at work.
It's Saturday.
No, it's not. It's Monday.
This morning was Saturday.
So Wanda's reality is starting to slip, with Vision questioning stuff and the types of things we take for granted in sitcoms, like what day of the week it is or why the friends on Friends work like 15 minutes a month. But Wanda keeps pulling it back with a believable in-reality explanation, even heartfelt momenting us.
But he's always going to be your brother because family is forever.
Did she just show red through a black and white monitor? That's a special kind of reality shifting.
Stay out of my home. You don't bother me. I won't bother you.
And now really pulling us down the Wanda is bad actually path by having her acknowledge there is a world outside Westview. But is it just me, or do these soldiers have the most steady hands ever? Like, even the drift is so smooth? I don't know, I guess I'm jittery. Like father, like daughter. I know, we see her real dad and it's not Magneto, but you never know where we're headed.
You need Lagos brand paper towels.
Yikes, choosing a mission where you accidentally blew a building up to name your product that cleans stuff up after. And you can still hear the spill still dripping to the floor since Wanda was never really able to clean up her mess.
Don't worry, he's sure to turn up. Your mom won't let him get far.
Mailmen always know more than they let on.
We can't reverse death, no matter how sad it makes us. Some things are forever.
And here's our very special episode moment that flies in the face of everything Wanda is doing. She didn't technically raise Vision from the dead, although he may disagree, but she did construct an entire reality to save herself from feeling his death. So exactly as contrived and toothless as most of the messages from sitcoms. Except for the ones on Fresh Prince, but that's what you get for skipping over the 90s.
You can't control me the way you do them.
Can't I?
Ooh, reality control burn.
I'm going to bed.
No, we're not done.
But also super creepy, starting to be way too many cooks in here, I'd say.
Norm has a family! Wanda, he has a family and he
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop lying to me!
You don't want to know, I promise you.
You don't get to make that choice for me, Wanda!
So Vision is definitely his own person, but it would be silly to pretend like a version of Vision created through Wanda's grief wouldn't be influenced by it. And back to our stages of grief we were discussing before, Wanda is no longer in denial.
You only recently became aware of it.
Aware of what?
She's fully in the anger stage, which would spill over onto Vision.
Wonder why are there no other children in Westview?
And you know what they say when making movies and shows don't work with kids or animals. As Agnes says,
Kids. Can't control them.
which Wanda really can't. Her magic doesn't work on the babies to make them sleep. But really, I think she just subconsciously didn't want to deal with kids, like even subconsciously acknowledged that she had enslaved them. But Vision asking her made her roll them all out for the next episode.
She recast Pietro?
Yeah, that's as far as the joke was meant to go. They took the 80s Quicksilver from Apocalypse. But let's be honest here, you can't throw a Fox mutant at us and not expect everyone from your grandma to your dog to assume you're promising the multiverse. So cute, but also jerky.
Ralph sprays it on me every night. But
By the way, didn't mention it last video because Pietro hadn't shown up yet, but when Agnes talks about Ralph, she's talking about Boner here.
the only way Ralph would remember our anniversary, what Ralph could really use is how to goose your wife. Not that Ralph ever wants to eat anything other than my husband, Ralph.
Ralph looks better in the dark.
Ralph.
Who's a popsicle?
Fair, though. Fair.
Let's keep it going, so there may be no way of knowing.
So I get less They Might Be Giants vibes from this title sequence and more like somewhere between pop punk or even early Weezer or slightly less angsty emo of Taking Back Sunday in the early 2000s. But also The Impossibles, oh, and obviously Bikini Kill since they worked with the rebel girl herself, Kathleen Hanna. And now that Pietro is sorta back, Tommy and Billy have taken their mom's last name. Also, Agnes promoted her naughty self to full-time cast member, and Pietro is only playing himself since he ain't Pietro.
What if it's all illusion? Sit back and enjoy the show.
Also, another theme song that plays right into our fake reality here.
Halloween's about candy.
And in only a few minutes, we get both the breaking of the fourth wall and the cutaway flashbacks with whip pan cuts of Malcolm in the Middle in 2000's DDR. Just because I was 15 when it aired doesn't mean I didn't watch the entire series a few years ago for fun. Split diopter.
I'm a Sokovian fortune teller.
Darling, I know you have a secret thing for Mexican wrestlers.
Cute cover stories for cheesy comic accurate costumes.
That's not exactly how I remember it.
So if Agnes has the ability to break character and gives that power to Peter, maybe she or they can write their own cutaway gags.
The neighborhood watch is the only thing that stands between the trees and the toilet paper.
But no, that's not what you're supposed to.
What?
Last episode, Vision questioned everything, and now he's playing into the silly sitcom storylines to get his own way.
You work for me?
I actually don't know.
Honesty.
And which one of you is the sassy best friend?
More sexism and racism, well played, even more clearly looking villain guy. Teamwork, even if they could have made it more teamwork.
Why didn't anyone tell me the plan?
Still teamwork.
Yeah, kick ass.
I feel the need.
Force me. Ow!
Kick ass.
No, that was your other brother. Or actually, both of them, I guess. Somehow the music and the camera movement makes me think that Paul Bettany is acting like Bryan Cranston, but I don't actually think he's meaning to. Shows you how important setting the stage is. Dark, stuck in an editing loop. You could say these people on the outskirts are just at the edge of Wanda's reach, but I also saw it as them repeating their cues, waiting for Wanda and the main storyline to show up. But since Vision didn't do what he was supposed to do, and technically Pietro isn't part of the original script, they never make it there. Sorry, premature on that last win. Dark.
Snacked on yo magic, bro.
Also, this commercial now makes me wonder if Agnes can make her own commercials, because that's her thing, snacking on your magic, whether it be other witches or Wanda's.
Yo magic, the snack for survivors.
Fast Guy movie and Twins movie. So it just occurred to me that this is still scored with the Malcolm in the Middle style music, still 16:9. Wanda is still creating this footage, right? But because she doesn't have direct control of the chaos magic, it's mostly on autopilot? And also that Vision isn't completely under her control, he has autonomy, even as he moves to the area where she's not directly controlling these people.
Are those your children?
Town Square Scare. Where is it?
Oh, well, the town square.
Did we mention that Catherine Hahn is always a win? That little laugh.
Am I dead?
No, no. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
Because I'm not.
Dead.
And this was a huge clue that Agnes has been faking, and even this is a big ruse just to freak Vision out more and get him to question even more stuff, maybe even see if he'll leave the hex.
All is lost.
Agnes!
And premature on giving her a win for her laugh. She's a witch, all right. Will.i.am, I mean Kestrel, I mean John Wraith.
The energy inside has rewritten your cells.
Yeah, we know and we love it. You know, with the hay maze and the gazebo, I can't help but get some Gilmore Girls feels.
Where were you hiding all these kids up till now?
What?
No need to traumatize beyond the occasional holiday episode cameo, am I right?
Okay, that makes even more sense, except for the whole we dream her dreams thing Norm brings up later. But no way Wanda could have known that.
We have your nightmares.
You've handled the ethical considerations of this scenario as best you could. Families and couples stay together.
And of course, Ralph would know some stuff from before Wanda showed up, like couples still being together and that personalities aren't that far off.
How'd you even do all this?
Finally working on Agnes's directive again.
I only remember feeling completely alone.
By the end of episode 6, Wanda has finally left anger and is now into bargaining. We got a little bit when she left the Hex last episode, but I'd also still call that anger since she was threatening them. But now she's trying to explain everything she's doing away because it's worth it in the end, and everyone's okay, right?
Endless nothingness.
And we hear just a touch of her accent come out since she's being sincere with someone. Halloween. Cataract, blurry vision, white vision, it all checks out. Should be clear that he's a Hex creation, but I guess you could still say that because Wanda's power is what's keeping him alive, that he needs to be in there, but you'd think he would just drop to the floor in pieces as soon as he exited the Hex rather than all this. Night of the Living Dead, a movie Wanda's subconscious would definitely pick.
It's not like your dead husband could die twice.
Except that one time Thanos rewound time. Hex censorship. Literally, you can't curse on network TV. And everything turns into another form of entertainment, a circus. The middle 3 episodes are where the showrunners teased X-Men Peter Maximoff only to disappoint everyone in the last 3 episodes. One of the few complaints about the show, but that's only if you ignore that the 90s didn't get their own episode, which I haven't ignored. That and the many clues and hints towards Mephisto, especially all the stuff about kids. But really, we'll talk about that more next time. The main 3 characters I mentioned last week are still amazing, but the new main 3, Tiona Paris, Randall Park, and Kat Dennings, are equally as awesome. And really, Evan Peters gets a bad rap because he was a bait and switch, but he plays that annoying role fantastically. Next week, a new movie.